We're in a 3-week series called Sinners in the Hands of a Sovereign God, and we looked on Sunday at John chapter 9 and the question, why so much suffering? And John 9 starts with a question, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And Jesus gave the answer that it was not that this man sinned or his parents, but that the works of God might be displayed in him. And it goes on, and really, you have this honest question, and then the perfect answer from Jesus, the works of God being manifested. And this is all on the heels of Jesus saying in John 8:12, I am the light of the world. And here you have a man who is blind, born blind, cannot see. This is not just about physical sight. He's also pointing to the fact that he is the light of the world. Jesus is the light of the world, and that he is going to be giving spiritual sight. Because in this instance where Jesus healed a man born blind, he also saved him from his sins. And this man professed faith in Christ. But you'll notice that as this unfolds, as the story unfolds, you see, the dismal blasphemy of the utterly depraved, how they're just railing against Jesus, how they don't believe the guy that got healed, and really some self-serving answers from some of these tragically fallen people, the galactically stupid, as you might want to put it. The idea that even his parents were afraid, and so they said, he's of age, why don't you ask him? And then there's a parenthetical sentence in there that just says, and here's why they did that. They were afraid of being put out of the synagogue. What you also see is a simple faith of the one that was mercifully healed, and you see the perfect wisdom of the truly sovereign God, and just simple faith. This man had been beautifully redeemed, and he basically says, Lord, I believe, and he worships Jesus. And Jesus caps off this story and saying about the Pharisees, if they would admit their sin, they could be saved. He says, if you were blind, you would have no guilt. The idea that if you would admit you're blind, if you would admit you need me, that your sin would be forgiven. He said, but you say, we see your guilt remains. Jesus ends this with saying, your sin remains because you persist in unbelief. The real point of this is the fact that the works of God are being manifested, and Jesus is telling the people, look, I am the light of the world, and you need to turn to me and be saved. You need to turn to me for forgiveness. And when you look around in the world and you think, why is there all this suffering? It is so that we would set our sights, we would set our eyes on Jesus. In this world, the walking wounded, we live in like deserts of countless sorrows. Where are we going to go with that? We're going to go down the low road and say, well, the world is just, going to hell in a handbasket and we can't do anything about it. Or we're just going to rail against those that we don't like. Whether it's, here's what I think about Afghanistan, or here's what I think about COVID-19, or here's what I think about why this happened in Haiti, or who's helping or who's not helping, or who didn't do this or who didn't do that, or what they should have done. What does God want every believer to do in light of the suffering we see? Point people to the light of the world, to Jesus Christ, to remind ourselves that this is not all there is. This world is not all there is, that we are groaning. This world is groaning, but we await the glory of God. We await God's glorious perfections in the new creation. That's to be our focus. As we give cups of cold water, as we dig through rubble and help to rescue people, as we give words of encouragement, as we proclaim the gospel until Christ returns. God bless you.